As food banks around the country face an increased demand due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Knights of Columbus is helping by launching a multi-million-dollar food drive and delivery operation. In addition to donating more than $1 million to food pantries across the country, the world's largest Catholic fraternal organization is mobilizing its more than 1.25 million members in North America to help deliver food to those who need it. Joining me now by Skype to talk more about this incredible effort is Andrew Walther, Vice President of Communications and Strategic Planning for the Knights of Columbus. Andrew, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
Andrew, I know the Knights have a long tradition of helping communities in times of crisis. How many locations and people are you hoping to serve through this food bank support program?
Well, you know, it's a very wide-reaching program. It's going from coast to coast. So, for example, in Connecticut, we help the Connecticut Food Bank, and that services most of the state of Connecticut. So in some of these places in Los Angeles, it was several food banks, and several of the other cities that we were assisting. It wasn't just one neighborhood or one food bank, but many spread across a fairly wide geographic region. So we're doing this in more than 20 cities. We're doing it both in the U.S. and in Canada. And we're really excited to be able to help people at this time in this way. We all see the photos on the news, in the newspapers, and on the internet of people lined up in cars or lined up themselves waiting for food at these various food banks. And so for the Knights of Columbus to be able to help in a really concrete way with this first wave of more than $1 million and asking our volunteers to step up and help deliver food where necessary, I think we have something that is a really good program that will really help people that are in need right now in terms of the concrete needs of food and these kinds of essentials that you just can't live without.
Well, it's absolutely incredible what you're doing. What's the response been like so far?
Well, you know, our members have been very excited about this, and I have to say the food banks also have been incredibly grateful. The demand, especially with unemployment where it is, has really been very, very profound, and these food banks have been in many cases struggling to keep up. So the Knights of Columbus, in putting forth the first tranche of more than $1 million just here in the United States, additional money in Canada, we're really seeing a great response from the food banks, and we're seeing a great response from our members who are excited to help in this way. You know, this, for all of us watching and talking together, this is probably the first pandemic we've ever seen. But for the Knights of Columbus, it's not. It's the third. And we were very active in the pandemic in the 1890s. We were very active in the pandemic in 1918. And now, again, stepping up, we say where there's a need, there's a night. We say where that we put our faith into action. And that's precisely what this is. We are stepping up to help people in need and joining this concrete program with the various prayer programs and other outreach that we're doing at this time.
Andrew, I know this is part of the Leave No Neighbor Behind initiative. Can you talk a little bit more about that effort and the other programs that are targeted to helping during this pandemic?
Sure. Well, you know, the Knights launched the Leave No Neighbor Behind program, and that was designed to do exactly what it says, to make sure that we were helping the people in our neighborhoods, in our parishes, in our Knights of Columbus councils, to make sure that they had food, medicine, the essentials that they would need. And also, as part of that, we asked our members to step up and contribute blood to blood banks, which are in desperate need of blood at the moment. And again, something the Knights of Columbus has a long history with, going back to the 1930s when we pioneered the first nationwide blood drive. So for the Knights, stepping up in these concrete ways in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a crisis, is what we do. We've done it after natural disasters, after hurricanes, after the San Francisco earthquake and fire a century and more ago. So for us, helping people concretely really manifests the first principle of the Order of the Knights of Columbus, which is charity. And so we like to step up, put our faith into action, and give people a helping hand in ways that are really meaningful and answer the need of the moment. And I think you're seeing that with the blood donations, you're seeing that with the food efforts, both in terms of distribution and in terms of funding for food banks. This is what the Knights of Columbus is all about, loving God and loving our neighbor in ways that are concrete and really important for those people that are in need.
Now, Andrew, thank you so much for what you're doing. And also, thank you for your support of EWTN News Nightly. We really appreciate it. Andrew Walther, Vice President of Communications and Strategic Planning for the Knights of Columbus. Thanks again.
Thank you.